I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. In my heart I have but one desire, and that one is you. No other will do. I've lost all ambition for worldly acclaim. I just want to be the one you love. And with your admission that you feel the same, I'll have reached the goal I'm dreaming of. Believe.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Table Spot. My name is Metal Mike, and I'm joined here, as always, with the Alpha Wolf himself, Sean, and the man with the best beard in the business, Cam. Gentlemen, I know it's on the East Coast. It's already Tuesday. It is 12 a.m., and on Sean's side of the world, it is still Monday night. So, Sean, happy Monday night. Cam, happy Tuesday morning. How are y'all doing tonight? It's Monday night.
I'm exhausted. That was long. That was an awesome show, though. It was really, really good. That was probably the best Raw I think I've been a part of since going to live events. You know,
yeah, you were in the arena. You were in the arena tonight for Monday Night Raw. That is why we're starting late tonight, is because Cam was at Monday Night Raw. So we decided, hey, we're gonna start late tonight, and then Cam can get home, get settled in, come on the Table Spot, talk about the experience of being inside the arena tonight for Monday Night Raw. So that is why we are starting late. Sorry, Cam. I know I was cutting you off. I apologize. Continue, sir.
No, I was just saying it. I think it was one of the best Raws I think I've been to. The thing about I think live shows, I think whether you go to Raw or SmackDown, it always starts off with it always has that high beginning, and then throughout the middle of the show it's like, oh, okay, but this particular Monday Night Raw just kept me entertained like throughout the entire show, so it's very consistent.
Yeah. So, I'll say this: this was a very steady Monday Night Raw tonight. This was a good show. I've never been to a televised Raw. I've never been to a televised SmackDown. Never been to an NXT. The only televised WWE show I've ever been to was the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view back in 2020, literally a week before the pandemic hit. And I mentioned I did my first ever reaction video today on TikTok. I got tagged in a video and by our co-host over on The Boom every Wednesday night at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time after AEW Dynamite, led by the man with the best beard in the business, Cam. Our co-host Phil, he tagged me in a video, and he said, "Hey, I've been watching this person for a while. I'm a friend with him. React as you must." And I reacted. Part of the reaction was that in the mid 2010s, WWE was kind of on a lull. Like for me, anyways, as a fan, it was kind of on a lull. The storylines were hard to, really connect with. Even Monday Night Raw at the time, 3 hours was tough to get through. So I was on a pay-per-view to pay-per-view basis at the time. I was. Even going to Elimination Chamber in 2020, if you guys remember that event, it was the night that Shayna Baszler went in and completely destroyed everybody that she was in the chamber with. It was a fun event to be at, but it was still kind of like, man, like this is this show was okay for my first WWE televised event. I wish now, and I know I'm going to make it happen in the future, get to a WWE televised event today because they are super exciting when you watch them on TV. And I could just only imagine. And Cam, again, you were there firsthand tonight, got to experience the product now with WWE.
Especially when they moved to Netflix and Triple H already confirmed they're going to be completely uncensored. Like,
that is something we are going to talk about later on in the show tonight, Sean, because I did come across an article, and I do want to bring it up. We are going to give our thoughts on that a little later on tonight. But yes, Triple H did confirm that when they go to Netflix, they are going to be uncensored. Yes, but we will get into that later on tonight on the show. But Sean, how's your Monday night going? Going all right? You having a good night?
you know, it's going great. For somebody who stayed up to like 3:30 in the morning the past couple of days, I've been doing. It was all right. It was a good Monday.
I know what that's like.
Pretty much my only thing I did today was watch Monday Night Raw and eat, like, because I've been staying up since so late because of insomnia or just playing Fortnite or something or games. I don't know. It's my fault. It's my fault. I understand, but hey, it's going good.
I've been doing a lot of Fortnite, and so y'all know who John is. He used to be one of our co-hosts here on the Table Spot. He's my co-host over on Rivet City Red Zone on Sunday mornings. Me and him do an online Madden franchise. So Madden has been something that I really calm down on and just play it when we do our franchise games. The games I've been on lately has been Fortnite, and I've been playing NASCAR. I know, weird, NASCAR. But I've been kind of into playing NASCAR as of late. My controller broke today, which I'm very upset about.
Oh, damn.
My daughter had an extra one. She let me borrow it. I'm not a fan of it. I'm probably going to go out tomorrow and get a new one because this one just isn't doing it for me. But as of late, I've been on a binge watch of Breaking Bad. I'm watching Breaking Bad from season 1 all the way through for like the 15th time. And I literally started it last Monday night, and I'm already on the last episode of the last season.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. That's how hardcore I've been into rewatching Breaking Bad. But gentlemen, it's Monday night. We get into Raw, and tonight, Monday Night Raw took place in Indianapolis, Indiana. And as we always do when we start talking about Raw, is giving our full-on official viewpoint of the show and what we would give a grade of. Yeah, you would think we would do it at the end. No, we do it at the beginning here. Why? Because we need to be a little different, right? We've got to be a little different than what other people do. So we do things different. We give our grade of the full-on show. So Cam, again, you were in the arena tonight. You were at the show, and since you were there in person, you had a first-person point of view. What is your full-on grade and assessment of Monday Night Raw tonight?
I'm gonna give it a solid B.
Okay.
Love the crowd. I think that's the loudest I think I've heard an Indianapolis crowd. They were deafening, for sure. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a B.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like on TV that the crowd was really into tonight's show. From front to back, I don't think there was really any time where the crowd seemed down. And again, we'll get into everything that happened tonight. But with how Liv Morgan heavy this show was tonight, y'all were into it. I mean, you were a very lively crowd. And yes, we are going to get into the very heavy Liv Morgan night. So, Sean, your full-on assessment and your takeaways from Monday Night Raw, what did you think of it tonight?
I'm gonna give it a C-.
Okay.
Like it was good, but there's just some things during the show I just hated, and we'll get into it as we go along. Obviously, because it's our review. So for right now, I'll just say it's a C-, but it was good.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it. I gotta kind of be in the middle the middle here. I'm going to give it a B minus. This was a good show. Very steady Monday Night Raw. Very Liv Morgan heavy Monday Night Raw. What I felt, and Cam, I want to know if you kind of felt this being there. What I felt coming through the screen tonight, and this is the great part about having somebody on a show that was in the arena, because you can kind of compare feelings on between having somebody there and it coming through the screen. And the feeling I got coming through the screen was this was a very, I mean, number one, again, a very Liv Morgan heavy show, but there was a few things that kind of left you at the edge of your seat. And there was a lot of excitement of like that, what's going to happen next mentality. That's what I was getting coming through the screen tonight. It was almost like, what are we going to get next? Because we just got this. Now, what's going to happen here? There's a few shows out there where you can watch and you can almost kind of sit there and say, you know what, this is going to happen next. This is what's going to happen. There was a point in this show where I did say that, and it was at the end. But for the most part, this was almost like a sit at the edge of your seat. You got to stand up to see what's going to happen next. Now, I don't know, is that pretty much a good viewpoint on what was coming through my screen tonight?
Absolutely. For sure. Like I said, one of the loudest, if not the loudest Indianapolis crowd I've been a part of, for sure. All the excitement, right now the city is, buzzing right now. We have a 5-year contract signed with WWE, getting Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam.
Yep.
So they were hype about that the entire night. Because they mentioned it like, 3 times, I think, like once on air, twice off air. So, so they were hyped for that all night. My only gripe was that one of my few gripes was obviously Pat McAfee not being there, and we got a few like loud "We want Pat" chants. Once again, like I've said this before, in terms of Indianapolis, Indiana, Pat McAfee he's like a god here. Like I've never ran into anybody who lives here who does not like Pat McAfee. So, but yeah, I would. That's a fair assessment from you.
I mean, Pat McAfee is a mainstay in the Indianapolis area. I mean, the man is the most famous, most well-known special teams punter in the history of the NFL. I mean, when you think of punters, you don't think of, Camarda, who's from the Packers, or any other punter in the league. You think Pat McAfee. If you had to ask anybody who watches football, the first punter that comes to mind as far as famous punters, Pat McAfee. That's the first name that comes out of everybody's mouth, because it's true. The man did things as a punter and at times a kickoff specialist that a lot of kickers and punters didn't do. And I can definitely understand why he was wanted in that arena tonight. I was kind of surprised. I mean, there was a time in this past week that during the Pat McAfee show, it went off the air because there was some Wyatt Six stuff that happened. I thought maybe that's what they're playing off of with him not being there, because his show was live today. He did have a live show. I do check out his show on my days off. I do watch it on TikTok because they play it live on TikTok. So it kind of surprised me to the fact that he wasn't there. But I can understand at the same time, like maybe he's taking some kind of time off. It's just a weird time because of being in Indianapolis. It really is. But the other thing that you mentioned about Indianapolis being the home to SummerSlam, the Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania within these next couple years, we are definitely going to get into that tonight too, as well, during our news segment towards the end of the show. So some other things we're going to talk about tonight. But guys, Monday Night Raw took place in Indianapolis, Indiana tonight. We opened up the show with The Miz and Michael Cole on commentary. And as Cam said, surprised to see The Miz, wanted to see Pat McAfee, and the feeling's mutual, man. I wish Pat McAfee was on the show as well. But I'll say this, and I'm going to ask you guys if you agree with me on this. I can see that being The Miz's next step to his career. Once he decides to hang up the boots and be done with his in-ring, I can see him being a commentator for a show. Cam, we'll start with you. How would you feel about The Miz being a commentator? Do you think that would be a good next step for him for his career?
I definitely could see I could definitely see The Miz being on commentary for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd see him on Raw or SmackDown though. I could definitely see him like maybe starting in NXT, and if they start to shuffle the commentary table around, because they shuffle the commentary table around like every like 3-4 years or so, something like that. So some people get released, some people get moved. Get moved up, moved down. I mean, just with the past year, 6 months, 9 months, whatever it's been, we've seen Corey Graves get promoted to now being play by play. So yeah, so lead commentator. So I'm saying so, and he's never been that. He's always the color commentator. So, yeah, I definitely could see him starting off. I don't know if I see him being a lead like Corey or Michael. Definitely could see him being, especially if he goes back to being a heel. I could see him being a heel commentary, and he's always like insulting the baby faces on commentary or whatever. So I could definitely see him do that on like maybe an NXT, starting him off there, and then him moving up to like a SmackDown or Raw. So I could see him doing that for sure. I think that's a good place for him.
Yeah, I mean, he can ultimately be like the next Jerry the King Lawler that we got in the early 90s. Jerry the King Lawler was a heel commentator. He was the heel color commentator.
See, I was kind of thinking he could be like the next JBL.
Okay. Yeah, JBL's another one. Yeah, definitely. Sean, your thoughts. Miz, do you think that being a color commentator on a show can be the next step in his career once he decides to hang up the boots?
It's unpopular. I did not like him on commentary tonight. I didn't like him. It just felt off. Like, so maybe still on screen as a general manager.
Okay.
He could still be like a heel general manager. Or even like even have him on screen also in the back doing like road agent or help write and creative like some wrestlers do, produce, But I still see him around after he's, retired.
I definitely think that he's helping a lot of superstars backstage today. Because some of the matches that we see on TV, I don't know if you guys feel this, but there are times in matches where I feel like he could have gave his input on a match because you see something that could be like a Miz element. So I have a feeling that he's dipping his toes into the agent type of thing while still being an in-ring character. But I mean, as a general manager, I mean, Adam Pearce is doing a pretty good job right now over on Raw, and Nick Aldis definitely doing a great job over on SmackDown. And you have Ava over on NXT. I mean, she's kind of hit or miss right now. She is. I mean, in my eyes, she's a hit or miss. She does a good job, but then at certain times, it's kind of like she seems out of place when she's standing next to the other GMs. And it was talked about more on Botch and Chair Shots last night. So if y'all want to go check that out, they gave their full assessment on Ava. And you know what? I agree with them, Cam. I do agree with what they talked about last night on Botch Spots. I do. She seems out of place when she's next to the other GMs at times. So, I mean, if somebody like The Miz would go down to NXT and maybe do some GM work down there,
that'd be major.
It would be, because I know we had, and we're going to get into Raw. I know we're kind of off track a little bit, but I don't think Ava's in-ring career is ultimately over. I just know her work in the past coming in wasn't that great, and I'm sure she can work her way up there. She's young yet, so she to work her way in.
Hey, what's up, Virgo? I think they're softening the blow. Like they don't want her. They don't want all this, because she had a lot of excitement going into her career. This is the last thing I'll say about it, and then we can get into Raw. But she had so much excitement going into her career because obviously she's The Rock's daughter.
Yeah.
So there's so much pressure of that, and so I guess maybe they were looking for a little bit more, like, for her in-ring ability, I guess, because she wasn't progressing as fast as they had hoped. So they put her in this role, but I think they will eventually transition her back to an in-ring. So I just think they're kind of softening the blow for her in-ring career, because I wouldn't be surprised if she's still training in the ring when she's off screen. You know what I mean? on the off days of like when NXT is not, on TV or whatever. So
Yeah, I'm sure she probably is. There's no doubt. I mean, she's the mainstay down in NXT. There's no doubt that she still is. Because again, she's so young. She has a full-on career ahead of her. I mean, not every woman wrestler coming in is going to be, a Becky Lynch or a Charlotte Flair or a Bayley. Some of them are going to progress a lot longer. That goes with men too. Not all of them are going to be, a Logan Paul, a Dominic Mysterio. These younger talents that are just coming into the business in the past 4 years since the pandemic. They're going to have to learn and progress a long time. So, but let's get into Raw. Drew McIntyre kicked things off. He opened the show. He talked about what happened on Friday night. Now, if y'all watched Friday Night SmackDown, we all know what happened. We had that interview that was going on with Grayson Waller. DIY got involved in that interview. And then we had a garage door getting slammed against. Garage door lifted up. And on that other side was a Drew McIntyre who on Monday Night Raw last week went into the ring and said, screw this company. I quit, and just left. Shows up on SmackDown where CM Punk was, because SmackDown was in Chicago on Friday night, and full on attacked CM Punk and took him out. But that wasn't all. He took him out to the stage. He threw him on the floor, a bloody mess, and then got kicked out of the arena, thus seeing CM Punk getting carted out of the arena. He came out and talked about what he did on Friday night, and then he said he hopes that CM Punk is at home right now, uncomfortably healing, and that he's in pain, and that he's being fed through a straw. And then he talked about the bracelet that he took, and that he knows that it's a bracelet made by a fan, but it was made by a special fan that CM Punk holds dear to his heart. So last week, guys, we talked about this, and I'm going to get your thoughts on this promo, but last week we talked about this. We talked about the fact of, Drew McIntyre quitting. Could this possibly be the part where CM Punk starts taking the spotlight and starts building this feud with his words? Because we've seen a lot of Drew McIntyre in the past couple months. Drew McIntyre has literally built this feud up basically on his own. Now it was CM Punk's turn. So, guys, number one, and Sean, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on this Drew McIntyre promo, and do you think, and this dates back to Friday, do you think Drew McIntyre came back a little too early after quitting last week, or do you think they did this just perfectly?
For one, to be completely honest, I barely got any of the Drew McIntyre promo because USA Network app is complete garbage. And I had to do some things to where I can actually watch Raw, because if it's not crashing every 30 some minutes, like it's been doing for the past couple of weeks, I missed Raw for some weird issue or in the beginning. But to your question, did they bring it back too early? No, because the way they did it in CM Punk's home, where he fucking just demolished him, was perfect. It was like, you got me in my home. I'm not waiting to get you in your home. I'm going to get you in your home right now, get my lick back, and take what you hold dear to you, a fan-made bracelet for you, AJ, and your ugly dog, Larry. His words, not mine.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get what you're saying with the whole home thing. I was a guest over on Friday Night Review this past Friday night, and I said it myself. I said that, this was basically Drew McIntyre saying, you shit in my yard, now I'm coming to shit in yours. That's what it was. And I can highly agree with you. At first, I was like, why are they doing this? I feel like this is too soon. I think CM Punk could definitely use the time to highlight and build this feud on his side, because Drew McIntyre's been doing it with his side. But with how they built it with Friday, I understood it, and then said to myself, you know what? I agree with this comeback. Cam, your thoughts on this promo? And I mean, you gave your viewpoint on Friday night. If you want to give your viewpoint tonight, on whether Drew McIntyre came back too soon. You're more than welcome to. But your thoughts on the promo as well.
Yeah, I think it might have been a little too soon. But I don't think. I mean, I don't really know how long I would have had him off TV anyway. Realistically, they've got a lot of hype surrounding, SummerSlam in August, and then of course Money in the Bank coming up really soon. So there's a lot of hype. So they kind of have to keep their storylines kind of in check, I guess. So they don't really want this storyline. They're taking their time and carefully placing their pieces with the storyline, and they don't really want this storyline to have any kind of a misstep or fall off in any kind of way. So I can appreciate that. But I think the way that they played out Drew quitting, I think was perfect, because realistically, I think it was just a misdirection, and I think that's kind of what he said tonight, sort of, kind of. So it was kind of a misdirection, but he played into it very well. I mean, deleted all his social media and a lot of, I mean, there was, that week, people kept saying like, oh, he's going to AEW and oh, he's going to TNA and all this and da da da. So again, they ate it up. So I mean, for what it's worth, it worked. People really thought he was leaving the company. And as to your point of like, when, like, this is the time for CM Punk to get that shine, to, uphold his end of, the storyline and put something into it, add more fuel to the fire. I think he did. I don't think CM Punk has to say much. Chicago was his shine. Chicago was his spotlight. So I don't think he really needed a whole lot of time, because he did the biggest no, which was go to Scotland, and screw Drew McIntyre. So he doesn't really have to say a whole lot. So, and then of course, Drew bringing this back and attacking him on Friday. So I think it's great. The promo, however, I mean, it was okay. I don't really know. I mean, the bracelet thing, I mean, I don't know if that's like, I don't know. I don't know if that really adds anything to the feud necessarily. I think that just makes Drew look a little more vicious, but it doesn't really add anything to the feud necessarily. But overall, it was an okay promo for what it was.
I mean, there was a lot of talk about this feud, whether Drew McIntyre would be holding the World Heavyweight title at the time, and would this storyline have the title involved? The storyline doesn't need the title involved. It doesn't need any championship title involved, whether it's the world title, the Intercontinental title, the U.S. title, or even the Speed Championship. It doesn't need a championship involved. It doesn't. This storyline is built to itself, and I can agree with that, to the fact that CM Punk in Chicago also did build this story. He added that shine. He did. For a moment there, and I'm going to say this, when he came out on Friday night, I said this on Friday night, like, for a minute, I was like, are we dropping the Drew feud at the moment? And is he moving on to the Bloodline because that little dispute with the Bloodline? But we very quickly, again, got Drew McIntyre coming back and doing the attack. Definitely excited for Monday night already next week, because I want to see where else this goes. I mean, this storyline alone can make you excited for a Monday night, because you want to see what's going to happen next. Even if Drew McIntyre or CM Punk says the same thing, this is that case of, it doesn't matter if they say the same thing. It's just adding more fuel to the fire, more heat to the house that this, the backyard that this fire's at, bonfire, whatever you want to call it. It's adding. So we'll move forward, though. We got the replay video of the Wyatt 6 coming in from last week. Again, we'll get into the Wyatt 6 in a little bit, because we did see a little piece of them tonight. We did. A little piece of them. We're going to definitely get into that, because I'll say this, I have some thoughts on this. And I, during the watch along tonight, I did voice my opinion. I'm going to voice my opinion tonight here. And I'm going to say the same thing I did during that watch along. And then we got the Chad Gable video of him showing up after being taken out by the Wyatt 6 last week. We got some follow-up with him backstage, being in the trainer's room, getting checked out, making sure he's medically cleared for his qualifying match for Money in the Bank tonight, because he's taking on Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed to qualify. So we will be talking about that as well tonight. Our first match we got, though, was Braun Breaker taking on Ludwig Kaiser. Now, last week, it was Ludwig Kaiser taking on Sheamus. And this match ended in a DQ, a no decision, whatever. And Braun Breaker came out and caused that. But the cool view of Ludwig Kaiser, of Ludwig Kaiser and Braun Breaker running from one side to the other. Ludwig going after Sheamus and Braun Breaker spearing Ludwig Kaiser would set this match up for tonight. So, gentlemen, I'm going to get your thoughts on this match. And I got some thoughts on Braun Breaker, but I'll add them in after I get your thoughts. Cam, we'll start with you. We ended up getting Sheamus interfering in this match, by the way, and this being a no contest. So this feud is just opening up between these three. It is. Now, more happened with Braun Breaker later in the night. We'll get into that. But first, your thoughts on this match and the Sheamus involvement. Cam, we'll start with you.
Well, first off, I thought this match definitely went on longer than I thought it was going to go on. I thought Braun Breaker was just pretty much just going to demolish Kaiser. So it definitely went on longer than I thought. From where I was sitting, Sheamus came out of nowhere because I didn't even see him hop the barricade. So I feel like the feud they got going on right now, I think they're kind of replacing the other triple threat kind of feud they had going on with Ricochet and Ilya and Braun. Now it seems like it's more so, well, kind of a fatal 4-way feud. If you throw Sammy in there too. But no, it was good. Once again, they're building Braun to be just this unstoppable force right now. I think my only gripe is that he's starting to rack up a lot of disqualifications. I think that's got to be a record now. I don't think anybody else has that many disqualifications consecutively on Monday Night Raw. So again, I would just like to see a definitive victory for him. I think he's a little better than that. But at the same time, though, I don't think it's really about wins and losses right now for him. It's just destroying people and just looking dominant, and they're doing a great job at that. So for what it's worth, it was good. You made Braun look strong. You made Kaiser look strong. You made Sheamus look strong. No one in this involvement looked weak at all. So kudos to them.
I mean, you look at Braun Breaker, and when he first came into Monday Night Raw, he was taking on competitors and beating them and finishing in no time. Now he's getting up against competitors like a Sheamus, like a Ludwig Kaiser, like an Ilya Dragunov, and his matches are ending in in disqualifications or no contest. There's not a clear-cut winner. There's not. And that leaves the question, and again, we're going to get into it in a few moments here because it is one of our next two segments. It kind of leaves the question on, is it his time for what we're going to talk about in a moment? But first off, before we get into that, Sean, your thoughts on this match and with Sheamus interfering and everything, your thoughts on this whole thing?
Well, it was a good match between Ludwig and Braun, dominant match by Braun, until the app crashed. The USA Network app crashed on my TV. So I came back into it with Sheamus already on the fucking floor. So I had no idea what happened. I was like, when the fuck did Sheamus get in the match? And that's where, like, the last thing I remember was, like, Sheamus on the floor. Braun was, or I don't know if Ludwig got disqualified or Braun got disqualified. But it doesn't matter because at least the match was good,
Yeah, it was a good match. But again, this storyline is heating up of its own. It is. A lot of people are saying, and again, they're comparing this time to the Attitude Era. And I bring this up a lot, and I know I do, and I'm repeating myself again, but I'm going to say it. Back during the Attitude Era, almost everybody that was on the show had a storyline. Seems like they're building to that because you look at this show, and almost everybody that's on the show has a storyline. Braun Breaker, Ilya Dragunov, Ludwig Kaiser, Sheamus, and now Sami Zayn. We got backstage and we got Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn in a face-off, and it led to Sami Zayn saying, "You want a shot at this Intercontinental title? Fine. Anytime, anywhere, you name it, you got it." And Adam Pearce was standing right there. You normally don't see this happen to where the GM is standing right there, and they turn to him and say, "Pearce, tell him." All right, at Money in the Bank, Braun Breaker challenged Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. Not winning matches clean, getting disqualified, destroying everybody in sight, and now he's getting the Intercontinental Championship match. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like Braun's walking out Money in the Bank with the Intercontinental title. Sean, what do you think? You think Braun's walking out with the Intercontinental title?
Dear God, I hope so. Like, I'll be there for that moment, obviously, because I'll be at Money in the Bank. And I'm gonna go scream my head off if he does, because I have always voiced my displeasure with this title reign of Sami Zayn's, and Braun will be a dominant fucking champion. Like, he'll be dominant. That man is just gonna give me like a faster, more like quick-paced Gunther vibes. You know what I mean? And that's what I love.
Cam, do you think Braun is going to walk out with the Intercontinental title a week from Saturday?
I feel like he's not. That's my fear, but I hope so. Really, I do. Sammy beats Braun. It's just kind of like, okay, so when are we going to start discussing Super Sammy? Like, who can stop this guy like this at this point? You know what I mean? You stop. Braun's the biggest threat to that title that he's faced thus far, outside of Chad Gable. So he beats Braun. It's just like, great. Now you got to build somebody else up that's, reasonable. So I hope so.
We got Virgo in the chat saying, yes, Braun Breaker's walking out with the Intercontinental title. I'm going to say this. Braun Breaker, he could walk out with the Intercontinental title. What has me thinking no is because of the fact that all his matches since he's been facing these competitors that he's been, grasping for, because he beat pretty much all the local talents that he could and squashed them, has not ended in clean matches. Ludwig Kaiser, disqualification. His match with Ilya, disqualification. His match with Sheamus, I believe that finished in disqualification. Now he's facing Sami Zayn. That's the one thing that leaves me thinking, is this match going to end in disqualification? Or is this the one match that we actually see Braun Breaker win clean? Get a pinfall or a submission. It's almost like, okay, he's saving his wins, his pinfall or submission wins, for the times that matter. And the Intercontinental Championship matters. These matches that he's having on Raw, he's going out, beating people up, gets disqualified, who cares? But the Intercontinental title matters. That's the complex the vibe they're giving me. But we'll have to see. We're a week and about 10 days away from Money in the Bank. It's happening next Saturday. So we will have to see what happens. We will. Not this Saturday, next Saturday. So we'll have to see what happens. There was a segment that happened before the Braun Breaker getting the Intercontinental title shot, but I figured we were talking Braun Breaker. Let's get into it real quick about the Intercontinental title. We had a Judgment Day segment. Surprise, surprise. It's Monday night, which means we're going to get a lot of Judgment Day. Not only did we get a lot of Judgment Day tonight, we got a lot of Liv Morgan. I'm talking like every other segment that was on TV tonight, it felt like Liv Morgan was there. Anywhere you've seen a Judgment Day member, Liv Morgan was there. Whether it was Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough, or Finn Balor. Doesn't matter. But these guys are sitting backstage playing WWE 2K, having fun. And Dom came in and he got something on his phone. Got a text message. And everybody in Judgment Day looked at that phone and was very wide-eyed. I kind of want to ask you guys what you think that text message said. But yeah. I don't know.
Oh my god!
I don't know if I really want to.
This segment had me dying, bro. Because fucking Carlito just goes, "That's cool."
I mean, the wide-eyed on Finn Balor and JD McDonough was just priceless. What do you guys think that text message said? What do you think it said?
Well, my mind was, I don't think it was so much more a text message. I think it was a picture.
That's what I thought.
And because that's the only thing I could think that would garner a reaction of Carlito popping up and just being like, and JD pauses the game and stands up as well. So to have everyone in the room's attention at the same time, I think it was something very we'll say spicy. I'll say it's a very spicy picture from Liv Morgan.
If you had to change anything in that whole entire promo, if you had to pick one thing to change, what would it be?
That they showed the picture.
Everybody reacted. Okay. Okay. I mean, I can agree with that. I do have something else though. And I with what I have thought, I think would have changed the whole complexity of what was going on tonight. But Sean, what do you think it said? Or in this case, do you think
I agree with Cam. I think it was a picture.
Okay.
But what I'll change during the segment, the one thing I'll change, that fucking Dominic has some damn barbecue sauce for those chicken nuggets, man. Those chicken tenders. Yeah, nothing. It was plain chicken tenders. Like, what are you doing, dog? You gotta have some barbecue sauce or something, bro.
I think it was a picture. I do. I agree with that. But if there was one thing I would have changed, I wouldn't have had Finn Balor get up or react. I would have had him sitting on that couch and not react at all. Because of what happened later. I would have had him just sit on the couch and not react. And not care about what was on that phone. That's what I would have done. Because he's playing slightly a big significant part in this. He is. In the past 2 weeks, leading back to that key card, playing slightly big to this. So we leave on the question of why are they doing Finn Balor like this right now? Well, I mean, they're kind of highlighting him in the way we may not like, but they're doing it. We then got Liv Morgan in the ring, and she called for Dominic to come out. And she wanted to know whether Dominic got a gift and her text message. Dominic responded by, Zelina Vega first came out, and it seemed like Zelina was basically challenging Liv for the world title. That's what I was getting from this. And we talked about this last week. Zelina Vega is definitely the number one contender for the championship. She's going to challenge her. It's going to happen. But leading up, we got Dom come out. And Dom said that he got the gifts, he got the text message, and he didn't like them. Later on, Liv Morgan ended up attacking Zelina Vega because they had a couple words across from each other. Rey Mysterio came out, broke things up. Dominic Mysterio pushed Rey over, and Dominic left, followed by Liv Morgan. And the saga continues. Sean, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on this whole in-ring segment with Liv Morgan?
I just wanted it to end. This is one of the things I hated about Raw tonight. It's because it was so fucking awful. I'm sorry, it was bad. Like, Zelina on the mic was bad. Liv on the mic was bad. Dominic is okay because that's the heat he's getting that they couldn't let him talk. It started to get annoying though. Like, fucking just say what you have to say, even if the crowd's deafening, which was good for the crowd. Like, great, you know. It only got good when they finally fucking started attacking each other. Like, thank fucking God, because the promos were pointless. Like, I'm sorry, like, Zelina's trying to say, I'll fucking fight you. Liv doesn't give two shits. All she wants is fucking Dominic. Dominic comes out, can't get a word in edgewise, so he's useless. It was a clusterfuck of a segment.
I mean, I can slightly agree with you, though. I get it that Dom is a heel, and pretty much every city that they go to, every city is like competing to see who can boo Dom out the building louder. I get it. But it comes a time where, like, I want to hear what he has to say. I want this to progress. Let him talk. You can boo him out of the building, but let him talk. And boo him out of the building when he's not talking. Kind of do the reverse psychology thing. Boo him when he's not talking. Let him get his words in. I can agree with that a little bit. Cam, your thoughts on this segment?
I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. Like I said, Liv Morgan, like I said, she's still playing the little she devil. I like to refer to her as. I think she's great in this role so far. The stuff with her and Dom is, like I said, one of the biggest things to look forward to every Monday night. And then Zelina Vega coming out unexpected for sure, because you don't ever really see her or hear her on the mic at all. I thought she did great. I thought she was cooking on the mic, honestly. So you don't see her on the mic very often, if at all, ever. And I can appreciate that it just highlighted her. She had her own. If you pay attention, she had her own entrance theme. It wasn't like, the LWO. She came out with her and Ray, her and whoever. No, it was just her. And so this is definitely highlighting her. And that's a great thing, right? So I think they need more of it, because I'm curious to see what Zelina Vega can do, as a singles wrestler on her own. So yeah, I thought this was great. Obviously, the thing about Dom, being in the arena. No, well, first of all, I can attest to this firsthand. It's definitely not piped in crowd noise. Okay, that crowd every time he tried to speak, they were booing him out of the building. It was so loud. So it's definitely not piped in crowd noise. So anybody that's telling you that is lying to you. But no, I honestly think it's great, because the great thing about Dom is we'll never really be able to know if he really actually does have mic skills, because he doesn't need to use them. They just don't like him based off of his past actions to get where he's at today. And that's got to be probably one of the greatest heel runs up to this point in the modern era, because I can't think of one heel in recent memory that's done a string of bad things to become a heel that has just lasted their entire heel run. They had to do other dastardly things to keep the heel turn fresh. He doesn't. They all just don't like him because he turned on his dad during the Judgment Day. That's why they can't stand him. So I think it's great.
Something super simple as turning on a family member.
That simple. And they don't like him because of it.
And like you said, like, we're never going to know whether Dom has full-on skills or not, because he's just building off the crowd. That's as simple as it is. The question is going to lie is if they ever decide to turn him babyface again. That's going to be where the question lies of, does he have mic skills? Because if they turn him babyface again, like, the talks through the IWC of, oh, we're going to get to the point where him and Ray reunite, yada, yada, yada. At this point, they don't need to do that. Keep Dom a heel. He's doing fine. The crowd's against him. He's getting heat. He doesn't have to have great mic skills. Keep him a heel. Don't turn him back, and you'll be fine. I could see if they had plans of him being a future world champion one day, but I don't see those plans anytime soon. I don't. Maybe a mid-card champion, like a United States champion, but a world champion, no. And as a U.S. champion or an Intercontinental champion, he could still be the heel that he is today and still get the heat, and he'll be fine. Guys, I skipped a match. It was a Money in the Bank qualifier between Lyra Valkyria, Shayna Baszler, and Kairi Sane. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on this. Lyra got the win. She pinned Kairi Sane to pick up the win and qualify for Money in the Bank next Saturday. Cam, I'll start with you. If you have any thoughts on this match, the floor is yours.
Yeah, it was definitely a match that got better as it went on. I liked how Shayna looked in this match. Liked how Kyrie looked in this match as well. So yeah, it was definitely a good match. Lyra, however, I do like Lyra. I do. But just again, like I said, being there firsthand, uh, she's not really over. Like I think she has the whole like whoop whoop thing that they do like during her like entrance music or whatever. But that's about as far as it goes, really. And so I think they're in a bit of trouble there because if they plan on pushing her, they got to find something that people can really connect to and quick. Otherwise, it's just going to be dead silence when she comes out. But she's awesome. She's great though. She's great in the ring. And so I think they made the right decision here, having her qualify in this match. So it was an okay match for what it was.
I do have a question for you, and Sean, you can answer this question as well. But I was texting John. I guess he was watching Raw before he had to go to work. He works overnights, so I guess he was watching Raw before he had to leave for work. And we were texting a little bit about Lyra, and he said that it seems like they're pushing Lyra, too much too soon. Like, and I said to him, like, she's a young talent. They're trying to build her up the best they can because they need to build up this new talent some way, shape, or form. And he mentioned that, she was in the Queen of the Ring tournament. She was in the finals. She lost the finals. I said, yeah, she lost the finals, but now she's going after Money in the Bank. A totally different thing. They need to build this young talent one way, shape, or form. Whether it's a men's talent, a women's talent, they need to, because you don't have a Becky Lynch there right now. Shayna Baszler is ultimately in a tag team with Zoe Stark. Charlotte Flair's not there. Like, if you compare the SmackDown women's roster to the Raw women's roster, the SmackDown women's roster is slightly more powerful when it comes to talent. You got a lot more of the newer, younger talent on Monday Night Raw. Thus, you need to build that talent to build challengers for Liv Morgan or whoever's going to be champion at the time they get to, when it comes time for them to be a number one contender for the world championship. But do you feel like they are, quote unquote, shoving Lyra down our throat? Cam, this is the question for you first, and then Sean, I want to get your answer and then your thoughts on the match. So, Cam, you first. Do you feel like they're pushing her down our throats too much too soon?
No, because I think it's too early. She just got there, so it's not really. But I do think it does feel forced right now, like just the overall face run that she's on right now. So yeah, it's definitely on the brink of being forced down our throats for sure. Like because you can just tell they're trying to make it work, and it's just right now it's just not. So yeah.
Same question for you, Sean. Do you feel like Lyra's getting forced down our throats, too soon? And then your thoughts on this triple threat.
There's a saying called "too much too soon," and I think that's what they're doing. She really didn't need to be in Money in the Bank either. Like, especially for the kind of character she is, she doesn't really need Money in the Bank. It's too much too soon. It does feel forced. And I feel like they're only pushing her because of Becky Lynch. So that connection to Becky.
What do you mean by the character that she is, though? What do you mean by that?
Like this character that she portrays when she comes out. That whatever the fuck she is, bird lady, like she doesn't need like a Money in the Bank. Keep her like,
Okay, so let me ask you this. If you had a choice between Lyra Valkyria and Nikki Cross as a superhero, who would you choose to be in Money in the Bank?
Honestly, neither.
No, if you had to choose, you had to pick one. Who are you picking, Lyra or superhero Nikki? Because you're telling me you like superhero Nikki.
No, I did not.
Okay, so this is the question: who are you picking, Lyra or superhero Nikki?
I don't know. I can't choose because I don't like.
And this is the thing, though, Sean, is if somebody asks me that question, I'm picking Lyra hands down. I am. I don't know who Cam would pick. I'm not going to answer that for him. But I bet I can put a poll up on social media right now of that same question, and I can put it up for 24 hours. And I guarantee you more people will pick Lyra over superhero Nikki.
It's just I don't see the point of putting someone like Lyra Valkyria into the Money in the Bank. I should be a women's champion in the future, regardless. Like she's like I feel like she's not even gonna win Money in the Bank anyways, because it would make no sense for her to do it and cash in because like she's like the character she is. Why would someone like her?
But it would. Because if you backtrack to around WrestleMania time, okay? Actually, because she came on after WrestleMania. Becky Lynch was giving her all of these pep talks. And who was there to disrupt her? The Women's World Champion, Liv Morgan. So it would make sense for Lyra to win Women's Money in the Bank.
And do what? Like a John Cena style cash in? Like, here, I'm announcing I'm cashing in?
Could. And John Cena wasn't the only one to do that. But could.
Well, that's like the biggest one I can remember.
John Cena did it. Rob Van Dam did it. CM Punk did it. I think CM Punk did it. Baron Corbin did it. So she could. And she would be the first woman to do it. Because Women's Money in the Bank, nobody ever did that. Nobody ever said, I'm cashing my money in the bank and we're going to do it here. And that gives us our match at this event. You look at the Women's Money in the Bank right now. Who's in Women's Money in the Bank? It's Lyra. Who else is in there?
Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green. Okay, fan favorite. And who else is in there? Io Sky.
Io Sky.
Okay, so Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria. Okay. Which ones make the most sense right? Which one makes the most sense right now when it comes to storyline?
Honestly, neither.
Lyra.
None of them.
Lyra. Because of her history with the current Women's World Champion, Liv Morgan. She makes the most sense. But your thoughts on the triple threat? We got to move on.
It was... didn't really care. Like, to Cam's point, that Lyra had, like, what, no reaction? Or little reaction from the crowd? Someone, like, made a good point that Shayna had, like, zero reaction. Like, it was weird. It's like, imagine, like, she's like, I feel bad for Shayna coming out to zero reaction. I was like, well, that's Shayna for you. You know.
All right, well, we'll move on. Kathy Kelly was outside of Chad Gable's locker room again, checking on his status. We got the word that he was medically cleared for the triple threat match, moving on to the match that he was going to have for the Money in the Bank qualifier, which came up next. Chad Gable against Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed in a triple threat match. Now, we ended up getting Judgment Day coming out, interfering in this match, and taking out Braun Strowman out of this match, leaving Chad Gable and Bronson Reed in the ring. Chad Gable hits a moonsault, pins Bronson Reed, ends up picking up the win. But that's not all. During his entrance, we've seen the screens. We've seen it. and this gets the involvement of the Wyatt Six. We're thinking, are they going to get involved in this match? Maybe. Who knows? His intro screen was going all fuzzy. Well, at the end of the match, the lights go out. Just like last week at the end of Monday Night Raw, the lights go down, and we hear that one tune piano. Oh my gosh. I almost said piano. Piano. You just hear that ding, ding, and out comes crawling Sister Abigail. And pretty much chasing Chad Gable out of the arena. Gone. He flew. I think he ran faster than a F1 series race car. That's how fast he flew out of there. Now, before we move forward with the more talks of Nikki Cross and Sister Abigail, I want to get your guys' thoughts real quick on the match, and then we will get into the little segment of Wyatt Six, because there's more of the Wyatt Six. We're going to get into the Wyatt Six. I want to get into that completely. So first off, your thoughts on this match, and then we're going to get into the Wyatt Six talk. Sean, your thoughts real quick on this triple threat match.
First off, I still think they should have kept Chad Gable off TV a little longer to play off what happened last week, because I didn't like how they did that. But the match is really well done. I like that the Judgment Day came out and jumped fucking Braun Strowman. And then at the end of the fucking match, I love that Wyatt happened and that Nikki Cross, her sister Abigail, came out and just had him just running out the fucking building.
Cam, your thoughts on the triple threat match alone, and then we are going to get into the Wyatt Six stuff.
So, first off, it was so much fun seeing Chad Gable show up, and because the RIP memes for him since last Monday have been hilarious. So seeing him tonight throughout the program, it's just like, like, how are you still alive? Like, are you a zombie now? So have you been resurrected? So stuff like that throughout the crowd was just too much fun. So seeing him come out, and then obviously when he got in the ring, and then you see the static from the screens, it was just like, oh boy, like you already know he's in trouble. So love seeing that. I'm a bit concerned about just like the direction of his character, just because like I don't know, like when he was on the mic before getting in the ring, it almost to me kind of sounds more like we're taking a kind of like a left turn with his character, because when he was still with the Alpha Academy and things of that nature, he was more like this, he was more like vicious. He was more motivated. Now it's just kind of like tonight I'm hearing him talk, and I'm like, this almost kind of sounds like a comedy character, kind of. Like, I'm gonna win that Money in the Bank, and I'm gonna, like, it just doesn't sound like the Chad we started off with. So that's my fear, is that they're gonna make him a comedy character. So I hope that's not the case. The match itself, I mean, primarily, it was as to be expected. Chad's in there with two monsters. He's getting ragdolled pretty much. He got used pretty much as a freaking a throwing dart, like at least two or three times.
That chop part of the beginning of the match is hilarious.
He got thrown around the ring at least 2 or 3 times by Bronson and Braun. Incredible show of strength from Chad, being able to suplex a rather large man in Bronson Reed. A pretty sound match. I'm honestly surprised Chad won, because again, that was my fear, that he wasn't going to win this match. Because again, if he's not winning the Intercontinental title, give him something, throw him a bone, something, do something with him. He's too good to just be, not having, just have no direction. So glad that he won the match. And then so then we'll get into the Wyatt Six stuff. So
yeah, following that up, Sister Abigail then crawled out of the ring and handed a box to Michael Cole. Now, Michael Cole and Cam, you didn't get to see this. You didn't even get to hear this. You got to see Michael Cole get the box. But the things that Michael Cole was saying, if you get a chance to go back and watch the words that came out of Michael Cole's mouth, it made you feel like he kind of made you feel like he was talking down to you in a sense. Like, he literally said, for you kids at home, this is something called a VHS. Those are the words that came out of his mouth. Literal words that came out of his mouth. For you kids at home, this is a VHS. Like, no duh. Like, my 18-year-old daughter knows what a VHS is. Come on. Let's go.
Some
And
kids don't, though.
I know. But still, I mean, and then he goes, this ominous being. And it's like, we all know who it is. Like, we're not stupid. This is the time where it really bugs me to the fact of, and I get it. I guess I got to put myself in the position of there are kids watching the show and they're not sitting there thinking this is Nikki Cross. They're sitting here thinking this is a completely different being. We don't know who this is. Like, it's a different aspect for them. So I had to put myself in that mindset. But as a grown adult, a grown man who knows who it is, part of me felt talked down to. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Okay. But we see her hand that box to him. He pulls it out, says these things, and says, maybe we can get the guys in the back of the truck, play this so we can see what's on this video. In the meantime, we've seen her just walk out into the darkness. And later on in the night, we end up getting a video, which we will then talk about. But your guys' thoughts on the Nikki Cross, Sister Abigail, what you initially felt at that moment, basically. Cam, you were in the arena for this. What was the feeling in that arena?
It was a lot. I mean, excitement, a chill, just a eeriness, just a whole bunch of emotions and feelings all in one in that entire segment. Loved it. Even my buddy said, I mean, he said the same thing everybody's pretty much been saying, and it's the fact that, Nikki Cross pretty much looks like the Ring, the girl from the Ring, essentially. But yeah, no, I think during this segment was one of the segments where we got after she gave the box to Michael Cole, there were some we want Pat chants. I had definitely heard those during that portion of time. What's their real feud or beef, I guess, with Chad Gable? We'll have to see, really. I mean, there was no contact, anything like that. He kind of just, pretty much just hightailed it and just ran out of the ring, as you said before. But no, I love it. As to what you're saying, I get it. Maybe ominous being is not the words that I would have chosen for him to say, but just calling her Nikki Cross, I think, takes away from the overall feel of what they're going for. Like, they're in mask. We know. I mean, yeah, of course, we're adults. For the children in the audience, they probably don't know. But for the adults who've been watching pro wrestling for however many years, we already know who's behind the mask. But I will appreciate if they refrain from saying their names for a while and come up with something like this creature or this whatever, because it adds to the eeriness of just everything they do with the lighting and the smoke, and that's great. Just flat out calling her Nikki Cross, I feel like is kind of a disrespect to everything she's doing right now. Just the overall look she has right now, her crawling out, it would just take away from the whole feel, the whole vibe, the whole aura that she has right now. And that goes for anybody that's in the YS6 right now. I think the only one that really should be being called by name is Uncle Howdy, because we know that's what he's called already. You know what I mean? So that's my take on it. So
I think what they could have done too is they could have played back to the history of Bray Wyatt. I think they could have in this situation and said that they could have simply just hyped up and said, it's Sister Abigail come to life.
There you go.
That line right there, it's Sister Abigail come to life. In some way, would have done it. I'm not saying they could have called her Nikki Cross because we know who she is. I'm not saying that they could have done that. I'm just saying that instead of ominous creature, say, like as she's crawling out, it's Sister Abigail come to life. And that's it. Or put it out there as, we learned in the past week that this is Sister Abigail. Something like that. Because we know she's playing the Sister Abigail character.
Right.
Now, just put the mouth on the microphone and say, it's Sister Abigail come to life. Bam, that's it. Sean, your thoughts on this, though? We're gonna get into the video in a little bit that was played because it was played on a little bit in the show. But just your thoughts on this whole thing with Nikki Cross.
I thought it was great. My demented mind, when she handed the videotape and it saw it was the videotape, I made the wild joke. Like I was like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be Dom and Liv's X-rated videotape." You're gonna, but like,
go ahead.
But no, I just had to make the joke because it was like too like, serious and ominous. So I had to like, make a joke out of it. That's my demented mind doing shit. Like, oh my god, they're gonna play the fucking Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio or Finn Balor X-rated tape,
Oh my god, it's Paige all over again.
Wow.
I wasn't trying to say that. I'm not trying to get us canceled.
No, Sean, the comment that you made last week, I mean, that's a lot closer than
I don't even remember what I said last week.
A lot closer than that. But in regards to what you're saying, honestly, with how much Liv Morgan we got tonight, sadly enough, if they were to start a storyline with the Wyatt Six and the Judgment Day, okay, that would make sense. That would make sense. It could have been a video of Liv and Dom backstage somewhere. And that's if it was the Wyatt Six going after the Judgment Day first. I don't think we're even close to the Wyatt Six and Judgment Day. By far, too far away from that. Are we going to get it? Maybe at some point. And there's been talk and rumor about who the Wyatt Six could be feuding with in the future, and we are going to talk about that in a little bit too.
Well,
but if it was the Wyatt Six going after the Judgment Day, then I could see that video being
one thing with Chad Gable too is when he was coming into the building, like Triple H always throws Easter eggs. I've been pushing this a lot. And everybody also said, Triple H also said, pay attention to details. It could be nothing. I'm going to say it could mean nothing, but that truck again, passing that truck that is so focused on Alexa Bliss, especially in her demon makeup. Just saying.
I mean, yes, it's true. The stuff we're seeing backstage could be an Easter egg. It could be just there. That was the last image we got of Alexa Bliss, was her in her Sister Abigail-like form. So,
Well,
for it being on that truck, that means nothing.
Well, before
my eyes as a fan right now, it means nothing.
Well, before Bray died, they started her in a howdy thing.
They did,
and she was normal Alexa Bliss.
She did,
but she started to turn. So we never know.
Yeah, after this, we got Chad Gable going backstage, and he was looking for help. I mean, he was terrified. I mean, you can even smell the gas coming out of his backside through the TV. Bottom line,
Christ.
that was that. I'm just gonna say it. You could, and he finds Otis, Tozawa, and Maxine. He apologized to them. He admitted that he was in the wrong for everything that he's been doing over the past couple weeks. And Otis simply said, you know, I meant what we said last week. We're done. I'm done. And then in comes the screen of the Creed brothers. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on this. I'll say this. I really don't have too many thoughts on this. I know we've had discussions about this happening. Cam, you are wiping your hands like you are ready to go, sir. We're going to start with you. But I will say this. I don't have too many thoughts on this because of the thoughts and discussions we've had over the past couple weeks about this. So all I'm going to say is I can't wait till next Monday to see if they further this along. Cam, you're ready to go. You feel it seems like you got something in the tank ready to just fire off on. So the floor is yours on this.
I loved it. It is about time. They're already planting the seeds, at least I hope so, of the Creed brothers and Chad Gable. And just seeing them standing together side by just that image, they look great. They look amazing. Chad Gable with the Creed brothers. And like I said, throw in Ivy Nile. Why not? I think that's a great faction right there. And they haven't even done anything yet. I love it. It's about time. I'm liking this. Hopefully they further this along. So great stuff. I popped when I see them on screen.
I mean, the visual was definitely amazing. It was. And like I said, we talked about this in the past couple weeks. We've seen the backstage talk between Gable and the Creed brothers a few weeks ago. Again, sometimes that could just be superstars talking because there's a lot of production going on. But some of the things could be something that's brought to screen. This is definitely something that's brought to screen. We kind of felt it coming, and now it's here. Now it's introduced to us. Now it's time to, strap on and see what happens next. Sean, your thoughts, though, on this whole thing with Gable, Otis, Maxine, Tozawa, and the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile. That was Ivy Nile, correct? Yeah.
I'm just gonna say we've been saying this for months. We've been saying this for months, and they're finally we're seeing finally the little sprout of the tree grow, and I can't wait for it to come to fruition.
Don't be so surprised because Chad Gable's a smaller guy. Seriously, man.
What?
Calling him a small sprout, watching a tree grow? What's your problem?
I'm talking about the seeds that were planted with the Creed brothers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about that. The little sprout is starting to grow. And then I can't wait for the tree to come to fruition. And you know what? You just ruined my whole metaphor. God damn it. I was trying to sound sophisticated.
Not on my watch, buddy.
Okay. Sean, you were literally saying that you were putting a seed in the ground and watching a small tree grow. Okay. You left it wide open for me to sit here and say, don't make fun of Chad Gable like that. He's a smaller guy. Don't be a sizist. Seriously. You open the door. Do you want to finish your thought?
I'm good.
Okay. You're happy to see this happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to be like a Mark Twain or something, but then I guess I can't be sophisticated.
We all
Mark
know you're
Twain.
We all know you're a Mark. It's all good. No worries. You open the door. I'm sorry, dude. It's 1:17 a.m. We're normally on a normal night, almost done by now, but we still got another 45 minutes.
Wow.
So
Mike coming in with the zingers tonight.
It's still early for me.
Shut up. It's getting stop bragging. Stop bragging. Okay. It's still kind of early for me too. But we'll move on. We got Alba Fire Isla Dawn taking on Chance and Carter. Chance and Carter getting their 450th chance to compete for the Women's Tag Team Championships. And because this was a number one contenders match. The funny thing is they did not say it until the end of this match. The end of this match. Okay? Isla Dawn and Alba Fire ended up winning this match. But after the match, they said Carter and Chance just lost their opportunity to become number one contenders for the tag team titles. Like, why are you not introducing it as that then? Why are you not saying that this is some type of number one contenders match?
It was?
Yes, it was. It was.
I didn't know that.
So I'm going to say this. Hats off to AEW for at least putting the thing on the title of this is an eliminators match for a shot at a championship, because WWE, you failed. This is one thing you failed on. But yeah, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn won anyways, but then we got the attack by Io Sky, Dakota Kai, Kairi Sane on both teams and standing tall. Not like Chad Gable, Sean. But they were standing tall.
Christ.
Sean, we'll start your thoughts on this match and the post-match attack.
I love that my girls are finally being the dominant tag team that they deserve to be from day fucking one.
2 of the 30.
Like, huh?
Nothing. Go on.
Like, you know what, Mike? I caught what you just said. I know what you're trying to say. Anyways, I love that. I love that my favorite female tag team, is that better? That finally is becoming dominant.
Sure.
Like they should have been this whole time, and they're getting wins. They're showing that they're a dominant tag team, and that I hope they have a long reign, but I see that they're going to have a feud at least with Damaging Control, which would be logical. It's a good choice, because Damage Control is a good tag team faction right now. So I love it. Katana and Chance, yeah, they could have said it was a number one contenders from the beginning. I didn't know that either. I was like, oh, it's just a random match. But hey, you know, shit happens. I was just 2 of 30. Mm-hmm.
Cam, your thoughts on the match between Alba Fire, Isla Dawn against Chance and Carter, and then the post-match attack by Damage Control.
I just remembered what I said last week.
You also just called Damage Control Damaging Control, so
okay, whatever.
This was nothing short of a snooze fest for me. I think the front row, like that was sitting in front of us, like the first like 4 seats.
Where were you? Like what part of the arena?
I was way up there. I was like in like 212. I was way up there, dog. You wouldn't have seen me.
I'm not gonna lie. I was looking, and at one point of the show, I thought I seen you because there was a guy standing like in the upper level, and you can kind of see it in the like almost like in the background of the one camera shot. And this person, I believe, was also holding up an Intercontinental Championship, just like yours. And I was like, I think that's Cam. Like, were you wearing tan shorts?
No.
Okay, then it wasn't you, because this person was wearing tan pants, so it wasn't you. Okay. Sorry.
What was I even saying? Oh yeah. So during the course of this match, like the first 4 seats in front of us, they all got up and just left. Like it was like a snack and piss break kind of match. Like that's how much people cared about this match. The crowd was this was the quietest, like most calm I've seen the crowd be probably all night. Like no one cared. Nobody cared. So honestly, like I have forgot. I had to really think just a second ago of who won this match, because I forgot about it really. Like it was an afterthought, honestly. I mean it's okay. I guess I don't see Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. I don't see them being champs for very long. I really don't. I don't know. They don't really do it for me as a tag team. They just don't. They used to. Like when they were Unholy Union, I was like, yes, they are cool. Now it's like, and if you notice, they've kind of dialed back on like the dark and spooky and witchy kind of stuff. And I think that's because we got Wyatt Six now. Like they don't want to oversaturate the show with just a bunch of dark and spooky gimmicks. So they don't
I
even
mean-
call them Unholy Union anymore. It's just Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. That's
I
it.
mean, you look at it. You got the White Six, you got Judgment Day, and you got Final Testament. You
There
know,
you go.
so to
There's a
add
lot
on
of-
to it, there's
yeah.
a lot. Yeah,
There's a lot of dark and spooky gimmicks, so they kind of dialed that back a lot of bit.
So-
In terms of the attack, the post match attack, I don't know. I think it's furthering along the feud with Damage Control. Some again, like I keep saying it. Something has to give for Damage Control. Otherwise, I think Io Sky. I almost forgot her name. Io Sky ultimately leaves. I think she leaves Damage Control if something does not give. So.
Io Sky made no sense for me to be out there. I know she's part of Damage Control, but she's also part of the Money in the Bank ladder match. Okay.
Yeah.
If I think what they should have done was just have Kairi Sane and Dakota Kai come out and do the attack, leave Io Sky out of it. I understand again, as a group, as Damage Control, they are a team, they're together, all that stuff. But Io Sky is part of Money in the Bank. Let Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane have a spotlight, do the attack, and show that they're going after the women's tag team titles. And you guys know me, I'm a big advocate for women's wrestling. I love women's wrestling. Okay, I'm going to kind of throw myself under the bus. Okay, and this is a little off track, but we're going to get back on track. This is real quick. I went to the Collision Rampage taping on Thursday. And during the women's tag team match that you've seen on Collision on Saturday, because the Collision taping that I seen got shown on TV on Saturday, Rampage is being shown on Friday this week. During the Toni Storm Mariah May tag match, I got up and went to the merch table and everything. And my friend who I went with, she was like, "You're leaving during a women's tag team match?" She's like, "You're such a big advocate for women's wrestling." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but I just not a fan of Toni Storm, and I just cannot watch this match."
See, now you feel my pain.
Dude, I got up and I went to the merch stand, and I didn't get my t-shirt till the end of the night, but I was like highly debating if I wanted to buy that shirt. You've seen the shirt I bought. I was highly debating whether I wanted to buy the shirt at the time, and then I waited until the end of the show. But at that time, I was like, I'm gonna go to the merch stand. They had a micro brawler there that I wanted to get, but they sold out by the time I got there. I was kind of upset about it, but it is what it is. But it ties into what you were telling about this of people getting up and going to the bathroom. I got up and went to the merch stand, and I'm a huge advocate for women's wrestling.
I was sitting there during the course of this match, but I wasn't really paying attention. I was literally telling, like, my friend was like, he's like, "Hey, do you know any dad jokes?" And I was like, "No." I was like, I got my phone. I'm gonna look them up. So we were just sitting there laughing at dad jokes that I looked up. That's what I was doing the course of this match.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that bad.
We got another backstage segment of Judgment Day. Liv Morgan was leaving. She says hi to Damian Priest, then bye to Damian Priest. They told Dom that he's getting a match against Rey Mysterio next week, and Finn Balor and JD McDonough was getting a tag title match tonight. So we found that out, and then we seen the Truth and Miz backstage, and Truth told Miz, "Hey, I accepted our tag title match tonight." And just more R-Truth stuff, saying that the Dom and Liv thing is like a rom-com and all that stuff. I mean, we got 3 segments of the Judgment Day in a row. We got the backstage with Liv. Then we got the Truth and Miz talking about the Judgment Day. And then we got to the point of Damian Priest, and this is what we're going to talk about, the Damian Priest promo in the ring, talking about Seth Rollins, talking about his match at Money in the Bank. It didn't take long for Seth Rollins to come out. And Seth Rollins said that he doesn't believe that Damian Priest, he doesn't believe what Damian Priest is saying. He's basically saying, Damian, you're saying all these things, but you're not living up to what you're saying as a world champion. Basically telling him he's getting back his world title at Money in the Bank. He's not buying anything. And then Gunther came out. And Gunther said to them, whoever walks out of Money in the Bank, Basically he's saying, I feel bad for you because you got to meet me at SummerSlam. And I'm going to take that world title. That's basically what he was telling him. So your guys' thoughts on this whole promo with Damian Priest, Seth Rollins, and Gunther. Cam, we'll start with you.
So when Gunther comes out, he gets the reaction from that was kind of like the reaction that Bobby Lashley got when he came back of the Raw. I think it was like the Raw after Mania, I believe it was, where it was like oh snap!
Yeah,
like
I was in the arena for that.
You know what I mean? Like I wasn't expecting that. Like so when he came out, I was like, okay, both of you guys are in trouble. So and we haven't mentioned that at all. Gunther's been off TV for a while now, and I think they've played that up perfectly because we didn't really need him to be on TV. There's nothing for him to really do right now, not to me, anyways. He had a hell of a run as an Intercontinental Champion. He needs a vacation. Take some time off. You know what I mean? So we build something new, something fresh for him. Give Ludwig Kaiser that shine right now. So I think they've done great, and we did need him parading around with the crown. Oh, I'm King Gunther now. We don't need that. We've seen plenty of that from past King of the Ring winners. Yeah. So they've done a tremendous job at protecting him and protecting his image, and just like I said, just having him be off TV for a little while. And this is the perfect time, the perfect spot to put him in this promo because again, it's like it was literally that moment of, hey, don't forget about me because I'm still here. Like you guys can get caught up and focus on your feud, but I'm still here. So I don't care who wins between the two of you. Hell, I don't care if the two of you just kick the hell out of each other. I'm picking the bones at SummerSlam. So I liked it. He didn't have to say much. Glad we got Seth tonight. I didn't think we were going to get Seth tonight. Because last week I think we got him at the top of the hour, start overall.
Started wrong.
So
yep.
I didn't think we were going to get Seth tonight. So definitely glad we did. Still good to see Seth back, obviously. I'm curious to see where he goes. I personally want a heel turn from Seth. I don't think there's really anything left for him to do as a face. I think this would be a great match at Money in the Bank, and kind of curious to see what they do. We also got some stipulations. We got something added on top, sprinkled on top of this match. It's not just a straight up match for the title anymore. So I believe, if my memory serves me right, Seth basically said that if he loses, he will no longer be able to challenge for the World Heavyweight title again. Very Cody Rhodes-esque when he was back in AEW and he was no longer allowed to challenge for the AEW World Championship. And then if Damian beats Damian, Damian has to leave the Judgment Day, which then Damian said, well, they need me more than I need them. And I'm sure that's not going to go over pretty well with Finn and JD and Carlito and Dominic Mysterio. So very interesting. So I like that stipulation being added because now it's just the match is even more an even more must see for Money in the Bank. So I like it.
Yeah. The one thing too is you think of it, Seth Rollins said that if he loses, he no longer goes after the world title. Okay. That doesn't exclude him from the WWE Championship. And if we all remember what happened at the end of WrestleMania, what did Cody say? I owe you. I owe you. And shook his hand.
Yeah.
So could we possibly, and me, I don't like to think too far ahead, but could this plant the seed of, a Seth Rollins winning the Royal Rumble or winning Elimination Chamber and going after Cody at Mania?
He could plant the seeds for what I just said too, a heel turn.
Yeah, they could. They very, very well could. As far as Priest, I mean, him leaving Judgment Day, he's been that leader right now. He's trying to keep everybody in check. I honestly don't see him losing and being out of Judgment Day. I don't. Because the words came out of his mouth of they need him more than he needs them. But this goes back to our early conversations and our early episodes of the Table Spot of Damian Priest is the last member of the Judgment Day who really got to shine. He was late to the party. He is late to that race to the top or spotlight or whatever you want to call it. Because up until the point where he really, like, up until his Bad Bunny match, he meant absolutely nothing to the Judgment Day. And even before that, nothing. So sorry, Damian, but you do need the Judgment Day. You do. Sean, your thoughts on this whole thing?
I just want to correct the stipulation was you can't challenge the world title as long as Damian is champion, which leads me to believe he's losing at Money in the Bank, but SummerSlam we might get Gunther winning the title, which then clears up and allows Seth to come back and challenge for the world title. And in the meantime, maybe he feuds, say if Braun Breaker wins the Intercontinental Championship, him and Braun would be a good feud for a bit, so we don't put Seth in the world title right away if Gunther wins, so it's not obvious. Because they had a banger match in NXT, when he was World Heavyweight Champion, and I think Braun was NXT Champion. They did the World Heavyweight title challenge or whatever. So I can see that happening. The match was good. The segment was good. The fact that Damian was I don't need the Judgment Day. They need me. I have this feeling what they're going to do, and I know we're probably going to talk about this. We briefly talked about the segment with Finn and Liv and them backstage, the title matches. I have a feeling in my mind, maybe when the Judgment Day breaks up, it'll be Damian and Rhea and maybe Dom and then the sub faction of Finn, JD, Liv feuding, a little mini faction war there.
So basically, they are going to be Raw's version of the Bloodline.
Yeah. Because what we've seen so far is Judgment Day pretty much mirroring the Bloodline. A little bit. Not full out, Bloodline-esque, but
to an extent. Small extent.
So that's what I feel like is going to happen when Rhea comes back, maybe. So
the videotape footage did get showed from what Mr. Abigail did hand to Michael Cole. Here's the deal, guys. I want to close out our talk about Raw with this. So we're going to fast forward for a minute. If you guys have any thoughts on Kofi Kingston taking on Karrion Kross, because remember, this match was made for this week, last week. Sean, do you have any thoughts on Kofi Kingston and Karrion Kross? Karrion Kross getting the big, very quick win over Kofi Kingston.
I'm just going to say it was a match that they needed to have. I did like that they jumped Xavier Woods backstage. And if you notice on Twitter, Woods posted a tweet saying that something's got to change. So I have no idea what they're going to do with that. But other than that, it was pretty much like a filler match to the main event. But it was good nonetheless. A much well-deserved win for Karrion. And I don't know what they're going to do now that they jumped Woods in the back. So,
Cam, do you have any thoughts on Karrion Kross and Kofi Kingston?
I'll just keep it very brief. Number one, it was an okay match, kind of, what Sean said, kind of a filler. I like the fact that they, included Woods in this and jumped him backstage or whatever. The finish to it was a little bit flat because your attention was on the screen and not necessarily in the ring. So they didn't really have an impactful finish. Glad that Karrion Kross got the victory. Obviously, I'm still a big Karrion Kross guy. I couldn't get my phone out in time, but I wanted to take a picture of this. But when the New Day came out and Xavier Woods, he's sending him off on his way or whatever, and he's smiling, whatever. As the lights are dimming on the entrance ramp, and they're focusing on following Woods or following Kofi Kingston. Woods is standing there, and all you see is like his silhouette because the lights are dimmed on the stage or whatever, and he's kind of just standing there, just like staring at Kofi Kingston for a while before he walks backstage. And I'm like, I think that again, I think that's another little teaser of they're teasing that I think Woods is going to turn on Kofi Kingston. So I like that too as well. So
see, and this is the great thing about having somebody in the arena to give you that aspect of things of what's going on. It's because those are the things you don't see on TV. And these are the things that can plant the little seeds of opening discussion about these storylines. Tonight, I thought that this match was going to be the blow-off match to this storyline because I don't know about you guys, but this storyline really hasn't been doing too much for me as a fan. I know it's probably been doing some stuff for other people, but me personally as a fan, it hasn't been doing too much. Finding that out, I was like, my mind literally just blew. I was just like, okay, this just literally sparked a little bit more life into this thing. So now let's see what happens next. We got into the main event. The tag team championships were on the line. The Miz and R-Truth defending their championships against JD McDonough and Finn Balor of the Judgment Day. Again, this has been a very Liv Morgan heavy Monday Night Raw. We've seen Liv Morgan on our screen probably once every 20 minutes. It was a very heavy Liv Morgan Judgment Day night. It didn't take too long for Liv Morgan to come out and kind of stick her nose into this match. Judgment Day ended up interfering during this match. We got Braun Strowman coming out and chasing them out of the area, the ringside area, but there was still one person left, and that was Liv Morgan. And while the referee's back was turned, Liv Morgan ended up interfering into this match. Finn Balor ends up drop kicking, I believe it was R-Truth into the corners, hitting the coup de grace, getting the pinfall 1, 2, 3. And now JD McDonough, Finn Balor of the Judgment Day are our new World Tag Team champions over on Raw. And before the show can close out, we had Liv Morgan come out with her championship and stand right in between of Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Not only them holding up their titles, but Liv Morgan holding hers up too with a big, excuse my language, shit-eating grin on her face. Like, there you go, guys. Cam, we're going to start with you. Your thoughts on this tag team title match. Your thoughts on JD and Finn winning the tag belts. And any other thoughts you may have.
Fucking finally, we got the championships. Oh, awesome truth. I don't dislike them as a tag team, but it's just like when you've got other suitable tag teams that are actual tag teams that are better than Awesome Truth, what are we doing? It's just kind of like they're never on any pay-per-views. They're not in any major storylines. They're literally just there for like comic relief. And that's fine. If that's your bread and butter, if that's what you look for in your wrestling content, great. Good on you. More power to you. Not shaming anybody for that, but it's just like we're not doing a whole lot with the tag team on either show since April, right? So I was just like, something's got to give. Something's gonna give. So this match, heavily overbooked, to be expected. But a very good one. I mean, this was out of the run that Awesome Truth has had up to this point. This was their best defense up to this point. Again, like I said, heavily overbooked. Yeah, Braun Strowman come out as to be expected. And that's a whole other story. Something's got to give with that too, because him coming out every match and chasing them out of the arena is starting to lose its usage, I guess. They're using up their minutes, phone reference, if you will, with that's got to come to a close at some point, because that's just kind of getting old to this point. But like I said, once again, great match, a lot of near falls. The Liv Morgan coming out, I was a little bit confused on, because Dom's not necessarily in this match, but she's heavily involved with the Judgment Day, so that made sense. her sort of hitting R-Truth, and draping him across the top rope. I didn't see that coming. So that just proves to me that she's heavily committed to not only Dominic Mysterio but the Judgment Day as a whole. So that was a shocking moment. Of course, I popped when not JD, but Finn Balor hit the coup de grace for the 1, 2, 3. Am I a fan now? Again, as a podcaster, as a wrestling content creator, am I a fan of the tag team titles and the tag team title division going directly back to where we started before April? Not really, but hopefully they are just placeholders for another tag team. My pick is AOP to get those tag team titles, and we then have more suitable brand new tag team champions. But for now, just to get the titles off Awesome Truth, I'm a fan of it. Just for this particular show and just for this particular moment, to be there live to witness it. But overall, great tag team match, great main event.
Sean, your thoughts on this match and the Judgment Day winning the tag team titles?
This is a segment that I fucking hated the most. It's like, tag teams? What are tag teams? What are tag teams? The only tag team that I see is Awesome Truth and the fucking Judgment Day. That's the only thing. You put it back on the Judgment Day. Like, y'all don't have any more tag teams in the division. It was you could have waited till Money in the Bank, gave fucking Awesome Truth a fucking opponent. It's more like that we haven't had a whole fucking show every week dedicated to, and give them an opportunity. It's like how Vince books the fucking tag team division all over again. It's either two of the same teams every fucking month. So Judgment Day just picks up the win, gets it again, and we have a Judgment Day as tag teams once again. Like it's didn't need to happen. Like I get it. Awesome Truth needed to lose the titles, but you have AOP, you have the fucking Creed brothers, you have fucking goddamn, I don't know. That's the Alpha Academy.
Here's the thing: is a lot of the tag teams that you mentioned, they're not in storylines. They're not in any type of situation to be number one contenders for the tag titles. The Judgment Day is in a big storyline right now. R-Truth was involved with the Judgment Day at one point. So it made sense for the Judgment Day to challenge for these tag titles at some point. It happened. Tonight and the past few months, few weeks, has been Judgment Day heavy Monday Night Raws. Now Liv Morgan is in there. Liv Morgan said she was going to take away everything that Rhea Ripley loved when it came to the Judgment Day, when it came to the championship, everything. She's not only going to take it away, she's going to control it. She is controlling it. She got the Judgment Day tag team title shots. When this match was introduced to us tonight and possibly happening, I said it. I said that they're losing the belts tonight. It's happening. Liv is too heavily being used on this show. She's going to get involved. They are going to lose the tag titles tonight. There is no way the Miz and R-Truth are leaving this arena with those belts. And it happened. The Judgment Day, it seems like the Judgment Day, when you look at these promos and you look at these segments and all the things in between, it seems like they're getting weaker, but you look at it, the Judgment Day, it's getting stronger. Thanks to Liv Morgan, it's getting stronger. It showed tonight, especially with them winning the tag titles. Liv Morgan helping or no Liv Morgan helping? So the Judgment Day breaking up is a far-fetched beyond situation right now. And the whole throw out by Damian Priest of, leaving the Judgment Day if he loses the world title, it's not happening. But Judgment Day's new tag team champions. And we'll have to see what move forward from there. But gentlemen, that's what closed out Monday Night Raw tonight in Indianapolis, Indiana, on June 24th, 2024. Now we are going to get into the tape that was handed to Michael Cole. I wanted to bring this up last because I wanted to talk about this. We got the video of Uncle Howdy talking to Bray's brother Taylor, and Taylor was bringing up the fact of one of the most important people, if not the most important person in his life, passed away. That was the mainstay of the conversation between Uncle Howdy and Taylor, aka Bo Dallas. The big conversation. So, gentlemen, I'm gonna give the floor to you. I'm gonna let you, whatever you want to talk about, your thoughts on this whole thing with this tape, because I'm gonna say this right now. I have thoughts on this, and I have a feeling that people aren't gonna like what I have to say. And I'm okay with it. Because you know me, I'm very accepting of what people think about what I have to say or not. Because, like I said at the top of the show, I have my thoughts on this, and I gave my opinion, and I'm going to give the same opinion. Sean, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on the videotape on what we've seen tonight with Uncle Howdy.
At first, it cut, and then it was very blurry. Like when you see Taylor, it's very blurry. So I was like, "Oh shit!" It kind of looked like Braun Strowman at a glance. I was like, "Hold up, they finally get like Braun," because he was saying, "Remember who you are." And then it cut to Taylor. I was like, "Oh shit, shit just got real." Like, and then Uncle Howdy pretty much is like giving him a therapy session. You know, he's like, "So tell me about when your brother died." That just floored me. I was like, "Oh, they're really talking about this." Like, how'd you feel when your brother died? And for me, the whole segment was like a little bit confusing as well. Like Taylor talking to Uncle Howdy, like how is if Bo is Howdy? Is this supposed to be like how it explaining if Bray was still alive, he talks to the Fiend? Is it like in his head, or what's going on?
Him
like
talking to himself. That's what it is. It's him talking to himself.
So, but to me, I feel like even in real life, this could be very like therapeutic for Taylor, a way to get his grief out through storytelling. And the fact that he was like so open with this video, I really loved it. I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying this whole shit that they're doing. And the fact that we see actually Taylor himself and not just Uncle Howdy makes me even more excited. And the fact that he's like, we're doing this is because people forgot about us. They forgot who we are. They forgot about us. So he's coming to make people remember who he is.
Okay. Cam, your thoughts?
I obviously enjoyed every second of this. I can appreciate the fact that once again they're moving away from, you know, the dated paranormal stuff. Like, this isn't the 90s anymore. We're not dealing with Kane and Undertaker. They're not making fixtures fall from the sky. They're not having somebody have lightning strike the ring. Like, we don't need that. This is far beyond that. So the rumor that, you know, this group is going to be more reality based, I'm like, okay, I like that. I can appreciate something like that, but I'm curious to see what that looks like. So this particular video, I was just going to say that before you had said it, but yeah, it's this whole tape is basically a peek, what I would like to think of a peek inside Bo's mind, and it's just him talking to essentially his alter ego, Uncle Howdy, essentially. And these are just the thoughts that go on in his head. And so again, like I said, when Uncle Howdy is basically asking Bo, like, how did you feel when your brother died? The whole crowd, that silenced the whole crowd, because the crowd was hyped when they saw this video playing at first until that moment, and they're just like, whoa, Like, so again, that's real. That's not a storyline. Like, that's a reality based thing. So Bo is gonna use like real pain, like in real raw emotions into this storyline, into this faction. And I love that. That's, you can't get any more reality based than that when talking about his brother and how, and the emotions and how he feels when his brother passed. So I love that. And in there's something that a light bulb just went off just when Sean was talking, because I saw a interview with Bray probably, you know, some years ago, um and I think he had said something along the same lines of like, they forgot about us, because he was talking about his brother, and the interview had asked him about, do you see Bo at some point, you know, your brother at some point being a part of a new Wyatt family, and he said, oh yeah, without a doubt, for sure. And you know, he talked about his early years being with his brother. He's like, you know, we were always together. We loved being in the business together. And I think a lot of people forgot about us. And that's what Bo also said in this video. So they forgot about us. So something plays into that, this whole this what he was saying in this whole in this tape or whatever, this video package. So I'm liking it. I don't know where it's going, but obviously it's clear that they're using real raw emotion. Nothing about this is, they have to play a character or anything like that. Like, it's just real. And I love that. And that's definitely going to make this the top thing to watch for on Monday Night Raw.
I like that he has black face paint in this video too, because when he debuted last week without the black, you know, eye paint, it kind of looked weird to me. It was like, oh damn, it kind of looks weird, just the mask and no black underneath, you know.
So, like I said, I voiced my opinion off screen. I'm going to voice my opinion in the same way on screen, and people are going to like it. People are going to like it. People are going to like it. People may not like what I'm going to say, but I want to give you guys my full-on thoughts and my opinion on this. I wasn't the biggest fan of this tonight. I wasn't. I understand that this was Uncle Howdy and Taylor talking. This was Taylor basically talking to himself. I get that. The one thing I and this is half of me, because I have to see where they go with this before I can give on the full assessment of this. But the start of it, playing off of Bray's passing, I said this, that people have connections with things, whether it's music, whether it's movies, whether it's pro wrestling. People have certain connections with things. People have, you know, outlets to kind of release their being upset, being sad, being angry. Okay? Now, I understand the family of Bray have to give the okay for this to be talked about, which I'm sure they got, or else they wouldn't have been doing this. Taylor is immediate family. He's Bray's brother, so he's part of this. But I feel like getting into Bray's death, because we're coming up, or we are past the 1 year mark of his passing. I feel like for not just family, but even just fans, you got to think of the fans too. Of this may be too soon for some people to hear. Because there's fans like myself who connected with Bray. And it may be too soon for them to hear this stuff because they connected so much with it. You know, for example, I was a huge Linkin Park fan. The first night that Chester passed away, I was driving home from Florida from a vacation, because I was on vacation the day that Chester passed away. I was getting ready to leave Florida from vacation the day that Chester passed away. I listened to Linkin Park my whole drive home, the whole 18 hours. After that, it took me months so I can listen to Linkin Park again. And it was because of that connection. Bray, I had a certain connection with. Maybe because of the fact of his mind and his creations, I was able to connect with. Not only because I'm a fan of that stuff, but it was certain aspects of it, the connection. They have a whole slew of things that they could have started off with. But starting off with talking about Bray's death, I get the fact that this was almost like a therapy session thing, and that I'm okay with. But to start a storyline off with this group that was so hot and built up for, it didn't leave a sour taste in my mouth. But right now, I don't feel like it was a great start. The Sister Abigail handing a videotape to Michael Cole tonight, awesome. I wish they would have left it at that. And then we wait until next week to get the videotape. I said it last week. This needs to be a slow build. And this needs to be a slow burn. They need to do this right. If they would have waited until next week to show the videotape, maybe I would have felt a different way about it. But I think tonight, the handing of the videotape and then us seeing it was a little too much. And the going into Bray's death might be a little too soon for some people. So I was okay with it, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it tonight. Now, again, we're going to have to see what goes on moving forward because we got to get introduced to these other characters. We do. We got to find a way to get introduced to all these other characters. And I'm sure in due time we're going to get it. But tonight, I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of them doing this tonight. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take tomorrow and the rest of this week. I'm going to go back and watch it again. I'm going to listen. I'm going to pay attention and see if my mind changes. And come next week, I will give you guys an update on whether my mind changes or not. But right now, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And that's just me. But guys, that gives us to the end of, of Monday Night Raw. Real quick, something to bring up. Sean brought it up at the beginning of the show. I'm going to bring it up real quick. And this goes into, again, I pull some stuff off the internet. Y'all know that. Some news factors. This one's called Say It. And this has to do with the Netflix era. Triple H did announce that the Netflix era is going to be uncensored. Now, this has to do maybe with language, maybe stuff we're going to see on screen. Who knows? But it's going to be fully uncensored. So my question for you guys is, what do you think this means? What do you think we're going to see with the fact of this being uncensored? Cam, we'll get your thoughts first. What do you think we're going to see with Netflix being uncensored?
I think it's more so, not everything in terms of dialogue is going to be, every third word is going to be an F-bomb necessarily. But I do think they're going to have a little bit more leniency towards what they can and cannot say, without, especially with them not being on a network television anymore. So I think it's you're definitely going to see a more, laxed dialogue. I think you could even probably see a little bit more violence in terms of in-ring product, probably some more blood, more dangerous-ish, risky-ish table spots and things of that nature. No pun intended. But just things like that. I think you're going to see a different product, a different feel. I think when the fans chant "Holy shit," it's no longer going to be bleeped, because like I said, Netflix is not going to care. So, but yeah, so just things like that. It's not going to be like full on, Jerry Springer type shit. But yeah,
Sean, your thoughts? What do you
I
think?
was
we're
gonna
gonna get?
say, Cam, can you get out of my fucking head? Because I was gonna say, like, thank fucking God, because that listening to the holy shit chants, and it's just holy, holy, and then especially when like someone's trying to talk during a promo, and they're cussing, the fans are cussing, and you can't get the fucking promo or understand what they're fucking saying because they gotta go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, thank fucking God, because like we can finally have it uncensored. The fans can chant that shit. It won't be censored. We can actually understand a promo if that kind of shit happens, where it's like, fuck you or asshole. You know what I mean? Like, or fuck you, bro. Like something like that.
Yep.
And then, like, to your point, I'm going to love more violence. Like, it's going to be more grit and violent. And it's going to be up to, like, kind of what All Elite does. So I'm excited for that. They're going to have a bit more blood. I don't know how much of the raunchiness they're going to do. I mean, storylines might be a little bit more raunchy, obviously, without over sexualizing everything. But, like, you know, because that day and era is gone. So, but yeah, it's still going to be more in, like, for romantic storylines purposes, like Liv and Dom, per se, as an example. It could lead to more, like, you know, raunchiness to an extent, to where at least where kids can still watch, but the adults can have, like, something too, you know.
Yeah, and to play into what you just said about the kids, I could see them going on. They're going to be uncensored. We're going to probably see more blood. We're going to see different things than we see with them being on the USA Network today. I still feel like they're going to take a step back. So, for example, if they're going to drop an F-bomb, I could see them holding that off until probably the 10 o'clock era, because they still got to think there's kids watching this show. So they do still kind of have to watch what they say to an extent because of the kids.
I hope The Rock comes back.
I feel like that's what they're going to do. But as far as an F-bomb dropping, if they're going to do it, I could see that being like a 10 o'clock hour thing. You know, kids might be in bed. The adults are watching now. It's around that time. Now we can, you know, drop an F-bomb or two and be okay with it. Cam, really funny thing real quick. When the videotape got handed to Michael Cole tonight, okay, when y'all were chanting "Open It," I think the network thought that you guys were yelling the word "shit," and they were literally bleeping out the word "it." So
Oh my gosh!
You heard the fans going "open," but the word "it" got bleeped out. So it was "open, open." And they thought they were saying the S word. Yeah, it was funny. I was like, they're saying it.
That's
like,
wild.
why are you bleeping out it? There's no SH at the beginning of that.
I'm excited for the Netflix era. I'm just gonna say that, just for the pure fact that we don't have to deal with that bullshit. Like, and I hope, like I said, I hope The Rock comes back, because when he was feuding with Cody Rhodes, dropping that F-bomb every fucking 10 minutes,
dude,
that's gonna be hilarious. Like, The Rock's just gonna say the fucking F-bomb like no tomorrow.
He was so explicit. He did not care.
I hope he comes back and was like, you know what, USA Network, off is the direction you can fuck. Like, or something like, well, obviously can't cuss them out, but like, network television, off is the direction you can fuck.
I do have one more, and this is a huge question for Cam. And this next one is INDY. Now, if y'all watch Colts games or listen to Colts games on the radio, the announcer goes, touchdown, INDY. Because, you know, touchdown, Indy. Touchdown,
I did not
Colts.
know that.
So that is why this one is simply INDY. Yes, it was announced that Indianapolis is not only going to be getting the Royal Rumble in 2025 to kick off the new year, but y'all are going to also be getting WrestleMania and SummerSlam. So, Cam, you are an Indiana native near the Indianapolis area. How excited are you for this?
Dude, I said okay again. I think off camera, or I think I said this on. I think it says at the beginning of the show too. They talked about it like 3 times. I think twice on air, once off air,
Yeah, we got it twice.
and every time it popped up, the crowd would just erupted. Like everyone here is excited. The city is just buzzing about it. I'm hype. Dude. I've been in terms of WrestleMania alone. I've been trying to go to WrestleMania since the 3rd grade. Okay.
Yeah.
I am 28, almost 29 years old. I thought they were never coming here. Okay. So I'm definitely excited for that, if nothing else. So yeah, it's about time. I kept saying, I was like, it's about damn time. So
Just imagine being a pro wrestling fan since you're 4 years old. Okay, me, been a pro wrestling fan since I'm 4 years old. I'm gonna be 38 in July. Been a fan for 33, going on 34 years. Okay, WrestleMania 15, Wells Fargo Center, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Didn't go. They were just there again this past WrestleMania. The closest I got was fan access. Just imagine it being in your backyard basically twice and not being able to go because of funds. You better believe now that my daughter's 18, going off to college, all that stuff, I'm going to have more freedom to travel and go to events and stuff like that in other states. You best believe. I don't know if I'm going to do Vegas next year. We'll see. But anyways, being able to travel freely now and everything, you better believe that I might have to come visit Indianapolis for one of these events. I'm just saying. Just saying. So, but I just wanted to get your thoughts real quick on that since you're an Indianapolis, Indiana native. And gentlemen, that brings us up to our last segment, and that is on this day, the day of June 24th. Yes, it is June 25th on the East Coast, still June 24th on Sean's side of the world. But anyways, on this day in 2001, at the King of the Ring pay-per-view in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Edge defeated Kurt Angle in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. The tournament itself was unique in that all 4 semifinalists were heels. In the semifinals, Edge defeated Rhino. Kurt Angle defeated Christian, and Angle ended up Angle's win came with an assist from Shane McMahon over Christian, who later on in the night, McMahon faced. Okay, I'm going to start this over. At King of the Ring pay-per-view in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Edge defeated Kurt Angle in the finals of the tournament. The tournament itself was unique in that all 4 semifinalists were heels. In the semis, Edge defeated Rhino and Angle defeated Christian. Angle's win came with assist from Shane McMahon, who faced Angle later in the show in a bloody street fight. In helping his foe get to the finals, he ensured he had one more match to compete in before their violent encounter. In the finals, McMahon interfered again, this time to cost Angle and gift Edge the crown to anger his upcoming opponent. In that street fight, Angle emerged victorious from a vicious, bloody brawl that involved McMahon being thrown through a plate glass window that twice refused to break as it had not been properly gimmicked. In the main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin retained the WWF Championship against Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit in a triple threat match, which was notable for outside interference from WCW heavyweight and United States champion Booker T, who was making his first appearance debut in the WWF. So that is on this day in professional wrestling. So, gentlemen, it is that time. Sean, all your socials are on the bottom. Make sure to head over to Sean's socials. Hit that follow button. Hit the subscribe button. Turn those notifications on. Check out everything that is Sean's doing. Don't do it this time, Sean. Because if you're going to talk about it, don't ruin it. I'm just saying. Because at this point, you're just going to have to hire either me or Cam to be your writer. And we'll take Cam. I don't know how much you'll take. I'll take $1 a show. I'll be okay. And if it's getting better, then I'll want to bump and pay. But right now, $1. I don't know how much you'll take. But Sean, let everybody know what you want them to know.
Watch Rebellion Wrestling Thursday afternoon, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up. We got a pay-per-view coming up in a couple weeks. I obviously won't be having Rebellion Wrestling next week because I'll be in Toronto, Canada for Money in the Bank, which, of course, if you're a viewer of the show, you can come meet me and fellow off the top brethren, Shadow. We're going to have a fun time. Come say hi, hang out. You can show me around Canada. I don't know. I've never been to Canada. I've never been out of the country. This will be a great experience. I'm going to have fun. Again, next week, I'm excited to go to Canada.
So, like, listen to that. Like, Sean invites people to show him around Canada. You know what's going to happen is they're going to take him, like, a night on the town. Then he's going to end up in a town where he's not supposed to be, like 5-6 hours away from where he's supposed to be. And Sean goes missing, and that wouldn't be a good thing.
Oh yeah. Just wish that upon me on the universe, right?
Did the word wish come out of my mouth? No. But look at that. You're inviting people to show you around Canada, a country you've never been in. And
Yeah, it's a little sketchy there, Sean.
you're going to have to put a tracker on Sean, just in case.
Listen, I'll be with Shadow the whole time and friends from.
That don't make it any better. Shadow is unhinged.
Listen, if your name's Lola Vice or Tiffany Stratton, just
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Damn, all your social medias on the bottom. Be sure to go over to Cam's social medias, hit that follow and subscribe button, turn the notification on. Check out everything Cam's doing, especially Cam's Wrestling Corner. I've been reposting and sharing the videos. I've been doing my my due diligence, like I said I would do.
Look at you.
So, look at that. Look at that. Hey, it took me a while, but it's happening. But what else would you like people to know? Yeah.
It pays to know decent people in the world. You know.
I try my best. I try. I can only try.
That's all you can do, man.
Just saying. Just saying. Anything you want to let people know?
I was waiting for that part. Oh, geez. Well, yeah. So you can find me here on the network every single Monday night after Monday Night Raw with these guys. You can find me right here again on the network after AEW Dynamite and on the Boom with Metalcore Mike and, of course, Phil Khan. And then you can find me on our sister page on Off Top Media every single Friday night after Friday Night SmackDown on Friday Night Review.
Alrighty, so make sure you're heading over to Cam Socials. Follow, subscribe, turn the notification on, check out everything he's doing, plus on the network here. As far as me, Metal Mike 714 all across socials, Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitch, Linktree. Metal Mike 714, it's super easy. Not hard to do. As far as the networks here, Table Spot with these two gentlemen every Monday night after Raw. We will be back to our normal time next week. Again, we ran a little late tonight because Cam was at Monday Night Raw. We weren't running without him, so we're running a little late tonight. So what? Our choice. We can do what we want, and that's that. Deal with it. But we'll be back to our normal time next week. As far as other shows, I'm on the Boom every Wednesday night. Cam leading the charge. Phil is our co-host. Right after AEW Dynamite, 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Sunday mornings is the Rivet City Red Zone with myself and the Candyman Johnny H. We talk everything professional football. We apologize for those who were looking forward to the show this past week. Johnny H wasn't feeling good. He was feeling a little under the weather, so we decided to take the day off. So we will be back this Sunday morning with a brand new episode of Rivet City Red Zone and just a little bit of a broadcasting note to give y'all a heads up. July 14th, Sunday, July 14th, it's my birthday. So we're not going to be on the Red Zone. I'm going to let you guys know this for the next coming weeks, that Red Zone will not be happening on July 14th because it will be my birthday. I'm going to be in Philadelphia for the Phillies game. So, yeah, we're not doing Red Zone that day. So, but we'll be back this week with a brand new episode. And other than that, you can find my article on Last Word on Sports, lwosports.com. I got a new article up. It just got posted the other day. So go check it out. I have the link on my socials. It's in my link tree. Wherever you want to find it, it's there. Please go read it. Much appreciated. Other than that, gentlemen, do you have anything else for the class?
That is it, sir.
All right. Well, make sure you're heading over to Rivet City Radio and Off Top Media's Twitch, YouTube channels. Hit that follow button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notifications on. Check out all the great content going on throughout the network, like The Boom, Friday Night Review, Rivet City Red Zone, Bot Shots, Chair Shots, and all the great content going on throughout the network. Other than that, be good to each other, be kind to each other, take care of each other, be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. Until next week, we are out. Deuces.